Hello everybody and welcome to another video. I'm so excited today. I'm here to talk with you about my plans for 2025. And if you haven't already watched my video on the Unhauled Year that I'm planning on doing in 2025, you're going to want to just take a quick peek at that. The TLDR is that I'm planning on putting away the majority of my planner stash because I swear if I see the word haul again in a video in relation to stationery, in relation to purchasing hundreds of washi tapes, in relation to buying a sticker book so big that you're never actually going to finish it, my brain might explode. Now, remember, this is a very personal journey for me. So if you're somebody that's still going to be spending money as you see fit on your stationery hobby, I am absolutely not judging. But for me personally, I need to pare things back a little bit. I need to reduce the overwhelm in my life. I need to find contentment and joy in the things that I already have. So my system this year is going to look a little bit different. And in the Unhauled Life, I talk about the fact that one of my no spend areas is going to be stationery. Now, obviously, if I run out of something or something breaks, I will replace things. However, I am 99.9% sure that going into 2025, I'm going to have everything that I'm going to need. I have some books that I already can use. Now, again, if I run out of books of the size that I plan to be in 2025, which is the standard TN notebook size, I will purchase another one, but my plan is to use up the ones that I have right now. I'm currently in a Sterling Ink 272 page notebook. I also have another one of those notebooks that's blank. I have a 520 page Sterling Ink notebook. I have two freely planned Planner Monkey Coat notebooks that are the smaller versions. Here they are. These are a little bit skinnier. And then I also have another 400 page Freely Noted Plus in the standard TN size in the coffee color coming from Planner Monkey Co. Plus, I am going to be purchasing a couple of extra things from the Sterling Ink release happening this weekend, the third release with the passport booklets. So I think that between this and this and this is the 520 page one. Look how thick that baby is. I'm excited to use this. I don't know when I'm going to use this one, but this is going to be fun. Plus this one. Okay, this is the 272 page one. Plus, I also have two just blank 64 page notebook booklets. I think that I'll be able to get myself through 2025. Like, I think I have enough. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what my 2025 system is actually going to look like. Also, if you haven't checked out my planner system video, this is going to be very similar. This is very much rooted in the current system and structure that I'm using. I'm not planning on changing anything because as I learned this year, it doesn't matter if I'm in bound book or rings, the actual structure doesn't change. So, which makes me feel a little bit silly for the sort of planner crisis that I had back in August. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is everything's going to be in one book. And we're going to use what we have and go from there. All right, everybody, here we are at the overhead. And I want to walk you through what the core of my 2025 planning system is going to be and what I plan on purchasing to make sure that I can make this happen. So first things first, obviously I referenced my Unhauled Year experience that I plan on having in 2025 along with my planner system videos. So both of those are linked in the description below. So if you haven't checked those out, I would recommend go checking out those videos because it will explain quite a bit. And so I'm first going to show you this current book that I'm in. Now this isn't the cover that I'm going to be in. I actually have a Naya papery cover that is currently en route to me that I ordered. That is the standard TN size. It's going to have a little bit of extra room so that I can add more to it if I need to as the year goes on and my needs may or may not shift. But basically, the system is going to be a bullet journal and there's going to be at the core of this, okay, my monthlies or my index to start with, but then my monthlies, which will house my work and my personal inboxes, in addition to any additional notes or challenges and things that I'm doing. For example, this month I had to write out just a reference of which weeks were my call weeks versus no call weeks for my clients. Then I will have my weeklies. So these are my weeklies where I map out my events overview plus my vitamins tracker, my weekly cleaning tracker, my personal to-do list for the week, and my work to-do list for the week. This hasn't changed really at all in several months. So I'm very confident that this will still carry over. Regardless of the layout, the same information gets housed. I prefer a horizontal or sort of dashboard style of weekly because you'll see in my dailies, this is what I typically keep my running timeline of. So I, as the day goes on, in real time, track how the day is going. So for example, this was last night. I went and saw one of my music students at her play, and I came home and was in bed around 10. But I track in real time on a daily timeline most days. This weekend, I'm not tracking because I just sort of made a general inbox of different categories and things that I want to work on. But, and then note, see, yesterday, I didn't actually do any work today, so I will be working tomorrow on Sunday, but I needed a day off today, so it's totally fine. But I typically keep at least Monday through Friday a daily log. So then in the back of this book will always house my journaling. And this is just sort of my stream of conscious micro journaling as the day goes on. I, for a little while, had this separated out from my planner, but now I actually am super happy to have it back in. I think I finally struck that balance between productivity and doing what I need to do for my brain from a just creative outlet needs standpoint without it disrupting my productivity, which was part of the reason why the journaling got separated out to start with earlier this year. But now that I'm back into this, I'm like, okay, this is working again. I now understand what this balance looks like to be able to do my journaling and my planning all in one book. Now, this is a little bit different, obviously, from the typical bullet journal method. I will usually map out about how many weeks and days will be in a book as I'm going through. So for example, now that I'm a little bit closer to finishing this book, I've actually mapped out dailies through October 13th. So you'll see I've just did the initial setup for the next few weeks here. And that means that I have about an additional 25 pages of notes pages, plus enough room for a page per day of journaling, which I don't actually use a full day per page. So there's wiggle room here. And then I'll have a few blank pages at the back of my weeklies because I did map out all of my weeklies that I'll need through October 13th. I'll have 8 blank pages that I can use as I need to. And then what I'll do is the week of October 13th here, or the 7th through the 13th, I will plan to set up my next actual book. And what I'll do is I'll migrate everything over that needs to be migrated from this book into the next book. And I'll definitely do a video on that migration process. So that's this book here. And then in the back, what I've discovered during this last half of 2024 is there are some pieces of information that was really a struggle for me to figure out how to keep this information in one place. So I had gotten these 2024 Sterling Ink passport inserts for this year, and I actually didn't even use them. The first half of 2024 is here, and it's completely blank. I did get these thinking that I would have a wallet passport set up that I would reference as I was out and about, but I ended up not using that. So I repurposed these as a spending log, and these are actually perfect because I don't need to set anything up. I can just log what I spend each day and then come through once a month and do my totals, which is great. Then at the very front in the quarterly, I can actually just keep a map of what my workouts are for that month. I don't need to track the details of my workouts anywhere because I track those in my phone, but I like to get an at a glance view of what I actually did over the course of the month. So that's this right here. And then in the annual overview, which I'll show you in this book, I do keep my intimacy and cycle tracking logged here in this annual overview. I won't actually show you my filled in one in this second book. This, I have no worries of just quickly transferring this from the part 1 to the part 2 book. That's totally fine with me, if I'm quite honest. As long as it's somewhere for the whole year, that's all I care about because I want to see typically what those trends are, but but I don't care if you see my cycle information, but y'all don't need to see my intimacy. I put a little gray circle on the days that I have my period. I will use a pink marker to highlight during my ovulation weeks, and then I use a little heart over the day to indicate any time spent with my significant other. So that's just how that works. And then in the back, there's a couple of notes pages, which are nice because if I do have any information that I need to just keep on hand that I need to reference as the year goes on, migrating this information, like I said, because this is a part 1, part 2 system, anything in here from the first half of the year that needs to also go into the second half of the year can go in here. And the beauty of these booklets is they're so slim that they really do just slip right into the back of this cover, and they're very unobtrusive, but they're always here. Now, another addition to this that I've added is my stickers. So part of what gets overwhelming when I'm journaling and planning is my stickers. So I actually purchased an extra passport sticker release book, and I just took my most currently used stickers and offloaded them into this. And this is, I think, going to be really helpful in 2025 because I plan to use up what I currently have. The goal is to not purchase it unless I've run out of it. So, for example, these D20 stickers for when I play D&D or Baldur's Gate, I have 2 more sheets of these. So I won't buy any more of this type of sticker unless I absolutely run out, which I don't think I will. I'm not playing every single day. So I think we'll be okay. And for example, anything in here that I even run out of, before I even consider replacing it, it will be more of a, do I actually need to do this, or can I doodle something or do some cute lettering to accommodate the difference? But I have so many stickers that it's like, I'm not really worried about it. I will be purchasing before the end of the year the daily stickers from Planner Monkey Co. because I do really like these for my journaling. I think they look really, really nice in the journal. I don't plan on really purchasing a lot of 2025 setup type of things because I did that for 2024 and a lot of it didn't get used. So that's what we're planning on doing. Now, the only other dated book that I have is this 5-year Techo that I did start this year. And this is really easy. I keep this next to my bed and just fill it in. I am planning to actually clean out and put away all but 1 or 2 of my fountain pens because sometimes I get a little too hot and heavy with the fountain pens and then it reduces my efficiency of using my systems. And I use the fountain pens in this book because it just writes so beautifully on this Tomoe River paper. But for the most part, I'm likely going to be sticking with either a Uniball or a Zebra Sarasa Dry pen in my typical day-to-day books. I'll keep like a medium, a fine, and an extra fine out, and then make sure that I have my current inks that I do own just available so that if I do decide I want to use a fountain pen in my day-to-day journal, I can, but I don't plan on purchasing any more inks or fountain pens for the time being. I really only use this one the most consistently. This is actually my favorite. It's a TWSBI Eco medium nib, and this is my absolute favorite pen. The medium nib just is so beautiful for journaling. I can't tell you how much I enjoy it. So now, in addition to making sure that I purchase my Passport weekly notebooks as my annual log of information, because this is a 272-page notebook that I started on August 17th and will only last me through October 13th. So that's roughly 2 months in about a 270-page book. I know that I'm going to go through multiple books over the course of 2025. So let me show you what I have on hand that will be included. I have 2 of these freely planned Planner Monkey Co. notebooks. These are not the thick ones, these are the skinny ones, and they actually fluff up so beautifully. So it looks skinny right now, but let me show you what it looks like after 2 months of use. So you can see the difference in how this journal looks compared to this one. So I'm not worried about the fact that these are skinny, and I'm not worried about them flopping around in my notebook because I know they'll fill up really quickly. This is not the freely noted, it's the freely planned. So I already put my name sticker in here. These do have the 12 monthly layouts in them. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to leverage this, but if I'm being quite honest, the grid on these pages isn't so dark that I can't repurpose these pages for something else. However, I can definitely see myself using these by setting up a future log, because I will keep a future log and an extended future log in every book that I'm in, because there's always things that come up that need to be noted that will extend beyond the time frame that I'm in a certain book. So for example, in my current book, I'll only be in it till mid-October, but I have dates for January written in the monthlies already. So I need to keep that information. So I could absolutely set it up. I just might change how I set it up. And then what I would do is use these following pages like I would normally use them. So I would map out the weeks plus the dailies plus some journaling pages in the back. And then once it's filled up, just move into the next one. So this is definitely going to get used, and I have 2 of these. I also have still here in the packaging another Sterling Ink 272-page notebook. And again, you can see the difference of what this notebook looks like compared to how fluffy it gets over the course of time. So this is just less than 2 months of use, and so the book has already fluffed up quite a bit and it's gotten pretty chunky. So then I have these booklets, which are the Sterling Ink just blank grid notes notebooks, and I've actually toyed with the idea of using these notebooks for things that I know I'll have over the course of the year. So for example, I'm in a BNI networking group, and I would like to have, rather than notes just existing in notebook like I currently have. So in this book, I've got not just a log of who I have one-to-ones with, but I also have a log of notes from our meetings. It would be really nice to just have like a little dedicated book like this. My goal is to ideally just be in the standard TN size all year long. But the reality is that this information, if I do switch into maybe a rings at some point during the course of 2025, if I don't have this information on hand, it's not the end of the world, and I can just migrate the information that I do need. But I thought for this, for example, it would actually be beneficial to have this just slipped into my system, so that way every single week I can just reference the notes after notes after notes in something like this that doesn't take up a lot of space in my system. And because my new cover that I do have on the way will have strings plus a folio insert, it will be very easy to just like stick this in. So I have a couple of these. I may pick up a couple more with the Sterling Ink release this weekend. I've also toyed with the idea of getting a weekly notebook from Sterling Ink, so I don't have to worry about setting up my weeklies for the entire year, just getting a horizontal layout, because that's more or less what I use. But my fear is that I'll get antsy midway through the year and want to maybe get back into Franklin Covey Compact. But maybe this is just part of the challenge of finding contentment in what I'm currently using and realizing that there's nothing actually wrong with the system. And so then what I can do is maybe use a weekly notebook in this size, they're about this thickness, then use the notebooks that I have for my dailies and my journaling and my future logs and things like that. So that's definitely an option. I wouldn't get a monthly in this because, again, I don't use a monthly layout. Even with the Planner Monkey Co. Freely Planned, I will repurpose those pages or just leave them blank altogether, because this is my ideal monthly. If I need to reference an actual month, I look at my iCal, which is my master calendar. So this is how I use a monthly. I don't want a monthly booklet because I don't use a typical monthly layout. This is what I use. Then I also have this chunk. I actually don't know why I bought this, because I know that this will get really, really thick really, really fast. Part of me wants to maybe pick up a couple more of these 272-page notebooks, but I kind of also want to start this one maybe in January. I will be able to fit about, if I can fit 2 months in this one, I can fit 4 months in this one. And I think it would just be fun to do during the January through March season before the summer hits and I'm traveling more consistently over the summer. But I love how this book feels. I just know it's going to get so chunky so fast if I use it. I also want to see how it fits into my Naya paper recover, because, for example, if I have this plus this in strings, is that going to be too much or will it fit in the cover? Like, I don't know, but I have this and I do want to use it at some point this year. But maybe it was a mistake getting the big boy, but I do really like the 272 page ones. They're really, really beautiful and they're the perfect size. This size and this size are like the perfect size for me to get into these two. They're pretty close in size. And then I also have again, why am I buying these big thick books when I know they fluff? I know that when they get too fluffy, I don't like to be in them because they lose the functionality for me. I have en route a 400 page freely noted plus in this size. So it's going to be double this size, 400 pages. It was a pre-order that Sydney did and it's in the coffee color. So it's a really pretty brown and I will have that also. So I might pick up, like I said, a few more blank notebooks. However, in my Unhauled Year, what I am doing is giving myself permission to, if I do run out of something, I can replace it. So let's say we get through to July and all of these books have been filled. Let's be real. If I get 4 months in this book, 2 months in this book, so that's 6 months. These have they have 224 pages total. So they have 200 notes pages in the back. So I will get a month and a half. So this is another 6 plus 9 months, plus the 400 page one will probably fit another 3-ish to 4-ish months. I might still need one more notebook because these I won't plan in like normal. They'll be used for more annual information or meetings and things like that. Let's say I need one more notebook in addition to this. I am giving myself permission. If I fully run out and I need to buy something else, I will buy something else. You know what I mean? The other thing I thought about doing was maybe, again, and this would be a challenge, getting a compact horizontal TN that had just that's this size, that would have the monthlies, the quarterly trackers. I could set up additional future logs the way I want to set them up. And then I could maybe use the rest of the notes pages, not necessarily for journaling, but I could just start my dailies in there or something. Or that would maybe be my note pages. And then I would do my dailies and my journaling in another booklet. But I feel like that would get very tricky because I would very easily and very quickly run out of pages in the back. And then I just have all these weeklies that I'm still using, plus all this information that was from the first half of the year. So as I'm saying that out loud, I'm realizing that that's really not a great idea for me to participate in getting that. So these will definitely get me through 9 months of the year. And with my other notebook coming in, that should get me through the rest of the year. But in case it doesn't and I am running out, I do give myself permission to purchase what I need if I run out of things. So the goal is to use up what I have on hand before buying anything new. So that is what we're going to be doing. So at the most, it will be one of these notebooks plus one of these maybe in my cover, and we'll see how that goes. If I use this one, I may end up using this one just by itself. Let's be real, but we'll have to see how things fit into my cover when they get here. This is going to be it really for 2025. So it's going to be a blank notebook that I can just bullet journal in, supplement for my annual information with a set of passport inserts that will slide into the back cover. So they're very slim, very out of the way. I don't need anything bigger to track this information with. And then I will keep whatever stickers I'm currently using on hand in this little passport booklet, again, that just slides into the front half of my cover. And then as I run out of stickers in here, I will shop my stash, load this book up, and focus on using what I have on hand, because I have a lot that I can go through. So that is my system. Then we have the only dated journal in the mix beyond the little passport weekly trackers, which is the 5-year Techo. And this is going to be basically the stack for 2025. So no real planners, just a couple of dated booklets for my finance, health, cycle, and intimacy tracking, then a whole mess of blank notebooks. So that's my plans. And this really aligns with what I'm trying to do with using up the things that I have and just realizing that there's nothing broken about my system. And even when I feel like I need to switch things, I end up going back into the same exact structure. Again, you can reference my planning system video. I linked it in the description below, in addition to my video on the Unhauled Year and why I'm doing it and what those parameters are and why that's impacting my 2025 system. And if you're interested to see how this year goes, you know, give me a follow, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the updates. And thanks so much for being here, you guys. If you did like this video, smash the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one.